What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for the Manchester City latest news. We will address the title when we get round to it. We're moving chronologically with things that have happened. I promised yesterday in my video I'd be talking about the stadium too. I'll be talking about the North Stand expansion and my opinions on that too, so stay tuned for that one. But first we're going to get on with all the rest of the news that's been happening with Manchester City. So first up, the Sun have been reporting that Manchester City are thinking about going a little bit extra. And I don't mean going that extra mile, I mean just being a little bit sassy, because Manchester City are thinking about building a mini CFA, which is a City Football Academy, in London to use as their own hotel and training facilities, as half of our games are actually based in and around London and down south, so it would be our base down south rather than keep moving backwards and forwards like that. So they're thinking about building a mini complex. They want one training pitch on there to be able to use, and they want it in complete privacy. They want it in a secure location, and they also want to use it for a base for hotels, so they don't have to keep travelling here, there and everywhere, whilst they can also train in their own comfort. So that's what Manchester City are thinking about doing, which is, yeah, like I said, a little bit extra and very unnecessary, which means we all love it. Next up, Manchester City were in action in the Champions League. They drew 2-2 last week in a challenging game in France against Lyon, which has sealed our place in the Champions League last 16, and we're needing just a point against Hoffenheim now, which will see us finish first in the group. And you'd think, considering most of the big teams in the Champions League, the elite, are doing very well in the Champions League, that they're going to finish first, which means we'll avoid them in the last 16, which is always a bonus. We'll move on to the Carabao Cup, and Leicester ended up playing Southampton. That finished 0-0 and went to penalties, and Leicester ended up winning the game 6-5 on penalties, which means Manchester City will play Leicester in the quarter-finals of the Carabao Cup on Tuesday, December 18th, which will now be on Sky Sports. For anyone that can't go to the game, you'll be able to watch it, because the Southampton game, if they'd have won, wouldn't have been on telly, and that would have been on the Wednesday. Now, North Stand expansion in the stadium, I said I'd talk about it. Last week I got an email for a survey of the North Stand expansion. I'm not too sure if everyone's got that email or not, but I got the email, I filled out the survey, and I'll just put in some bits and bobs. I'll tell you about some bits and bobs that was in there. So there's talking about season ticket prices. They were thinking about introducing, I think it was a 21 to 25 season ticket, which would see me fall in that bracket, so that'd be great. There's also talking about safe standing with season tickets. How much would you be willing to pay? And prices were talked about between £275 and £350, which isn't a bad price. They were thinking about putting safe standing either at the front of the South Stand, at the back of the South Stand, front of the North Stand, and back of the North Stand as well, like that. I ended up putting, it said if you wanted any comments, I'd say it'd be nice to have like a whole congregated section for safe standing. If it does go in the North Stand, are they going to move the family section to one of the other stands, I'm wondering. And they also asked, do you want to move the away fans? To which I said no, I'm quite happy for the away fans to be where they are in the South Stand, because it does get a good atmosphere in the South Stand and to the section to the side of the away fans where they are. They're also asking about other stuff that they normally ask about, like do you go to the club supporters bars outside the stadiums and things like that, and the overall experience, match day events, do you watch this, do you watch that, and all that stuff. But the main bit was Manchester City are for safe standing. They want safe standing. They wanted to know where to put safe standing. They were talking about season ticket prices too, which I found decent with prices. I was asking about prices. I did add one little bit in though, and I said it's about ticket prices, and they wanted, I said that season ticket prices in general are decent priced. Certainly if they're thinking about lowering down them prices, it'd be nice to have more selection of them lower down prices rather than just saying here's a dedicated few, the rest. Because I remember looking at season ticket and thinking it cost around £300, £350, even £370 or something. It ended up you won't be able to get seats there because I'm not a season ticket holder at the moment, and it ended up costing £450, which is a whole £150 extra than what I'd want to pay, which would be around £300. So yeah, it's a lot of money when you're travelling here, there and everywhere. It costs a lot of money, so I said I have to pick my games that I go to. So it'd be nice to have the prices dropped. I do go to a lot of the Cup games, the Champions League games. I do enjoy Etihad at night, but I do like to go to Premier League games too. However, the ticket prices, when I went against Southampton in the South Stand, that was £37, which is expensive, but not too bad. Like if in general all the prices of tickets were a little bit cheaper, I'd think about going. But like the games against Liverpool, against Manchester United, against Chelsea, the big games that you'd want to go to, then you're looking at £50, £60, £70 cheapest for some of the adult tickets, which in my opinion is far too expensive, and you end up getting tourists paying. Not got a problem with tourists going to Manchester City, but sure, that's the whole point of the expansion, is you're allowing more space for more people to go. So there'd be more room for tourists, there'd be more room for people that don't get to go to as many games. You charge cheaper prices, you're obviously going to have more demand, and that's what I was trying to put the point across. You put the ticket prices down, I'll then want to go to more games. The more games I want to go to, I then more think about becoming a season ticket holder like that. But when they're charging 50, 60, 70 pounds, that's just for the ticket, then what am I looking at, including my day out and everything, then travel and everything, I'm looking at what, 80, 90, even 100 pounds for one game. That's very expensive. I mean, it's not too bad if you're a tourist, you don't mind paying that. I'm not a tourist though. I'm there to watch Manchester City and you're doing it regularly throughout the season. It becomes very expensive, so I think that they should put up a cap on them. There's a cap in the away stand, where people don't pay more than £30 for their ticket. And it bugs me so much that Man City want to charge the home fans more than £30. It gets to me. I think they should bring the season ticket prices down. I think they should bring the ticket prices down. After all, it's just a small part of the income. I understand for the big games and everything that they charge more, but there's some games, there's games against Bournemouth where they were charging £46.50 for the cheapest adult ticket. Why is it full? It's sold out. Man City aren't going to address it. It's just a problem I find. That's why I went at Bournemouth. I don't agree with the pricing. I go to more cup games because I agree with the pricing. I mean, Ciao that I went to, £25. It's decent. I was there. There's other games, Carabao Cup, where they're doing for tickets for like £10, £15. There's lots of decent prices out there that I'd wish City maybe would have more reward for them. But they're talking about having a membership for people, and you're able to get, I think it kind of it's 10% or 30. I think it's 10% at the moment, and they're talking about getting 30% off ticket prices, and you pay for the membership and things like that. But there's all kinds of things in the survey. I should imagine you'll find more about it online. It was interesting. I made sure I put my opinion across. In the comments below, I'd love to know what you think. Where do you think safe standing should go? What should Man City do about the North Stand? Should it be over 2 tiers? Should it be one big tier if it's possible? Do you think it should be the original plans of 3 tiers and symmetrical with the South Stand? Do let me know in the comments below. But yeah, made sure I got my opinions across there. Might not be viable, but don't ask, you don't get. Next up, Kevin De Bruyne. He's going to be eased back into the Manchester City squad. I'm not too sure if he's in training just yet, but he was trying to be back for Chelsea. I'd say that's highly unlikely now, so we might be looking at a week or two delay on that and making sure Kevin De Bruyne gets back to full fitness. But we don't really have much of an update there, but we do know now he's not going to be back for Watford, and he probably won't be back for Chelsea just yet either. Next up, FIFA. They've been talking about players on loan. They want to put a clamp down on it. They want to have it between 6 and 8 players sent out on loan. Chelsea at the moment have got 39 players. City have got 28 players out on loan. So if they introduce it to 6 to 8 players going out on loan, then that's a massive reduction. It means Manchester City's development squad will be a lot better. However, they're not competitive football for them, and want them to get as much professional game football for them as possible. I'm wondering then if Man City might try and push ahead with a B team. We've got them in the Checker Trade Trophy, a B team. I'm wondering if Man City might push ahead if that is the case and try and have something competitive for Manchester City's elite development squad to be able to go at, but I'm not too sure. Now on to the Premier League, and Manchester City, we beat Bournemouth in the Premier League 3-1 at home, as Manchester City managed to maintain more wins and end up sitting out on top of the table, 2 points clear, thanks to Leroy Sané and Raheem Sterling having a very good second half. And we've got Watford tonight, so that'll be we'll have an analysis on that up for you tomorrow, so stay tuned for that one. An interesting one, not really Manchester City based, but maybe one day if things start to go bad it might be Manchester City based. But from 2021, UEFA's introduced a Europa League 2. Because everyone loves Europa League, they've introduced a second Europa League. I'm not too sure, but it's a strange one for them to introduce. They're looking for more European football. I imagine at the end of the day, they're just looking to try and make more money. But on the upside, if Man United don't end up qualifying for Europa League, they've got another competition to go at that can go for Europa League 2. Now, we had the FA Cup draw yesterday. Manchester City have drawn Rotherham United of the Championship at home in the 3rd round. City are playing against Liverpool on the Thursday. They said it's going to be the weekend of that week. City are playing on the Thursday against Liverpool, so I imagine that game will probably be on the Sunday, if not selected for television. If it is, then some point on the Sunday, they might even move it to a Monday. I highly doubt it'll be on TV though, so I'm expecting that to be the Sunday. Next up, we've had the Ballon d'Or awards yesterday. And we had them horrific scenes at the beginning with the Lyon player, that woman being awarded the Women's Ballon d'Or. Fully deserved for her. She's got some great statistics there. I'm sure she's a great player. And then things were overshadowed by some weird guy asking her, does she twerk? Completely irrelevant to her professionalism. Pretty strange, but for Manchester City, Kun Aguero in 16th, Kevin De Bruyne in 9th. I do feel Kevin De Bruyne maybe should have been a little bit higher. In my opinion, I thought maybe 7th would be more of a reflective of his season that he's had. He's been our best performance over the last season or so. Kevin De Bruyne, a bit disappointed that he's got 9th, but still top 10 best players in the world. Well done to Kevin, fully deserved. Now, next up and last in the news, I said I'll bring it, so I'll talk about it. Now, UEFA apparently are close to completing their investigation on Manchester City's financial fair play deals that were being investigated, including that deal with the Etihad Airways, where this magical £40 million from our owner apparently forming a new business and injecting the money to Man City past financial fair play back in 2014 and was leaked through football leaks. UEFA said they've been investigating. UEFA said it's a concrete case, and soon we will find out the results of these cases. And apparently, according to a lot of the press this morning, they're saying that if Manchester City are found guilty, UEFA want to put a sanction on us. They know that a fine isn't going to do anything because money's no object, according to them. That's what they regard Manchester City as, money bags, so they want to put us on a European ban. They can't stand Manchester City doing well, that they have to find some way of trying to put us down. Now, I'm not too sure what basis they've got that Manchester City have done this in the first place. They've got football leaks that have leaked a document. How you know that these documents are legit? How you know these documents should stand in a court of law? I'm not too sure. There are rumours out there though saying that Manchester City, if found guilty, and this is their punishment that's given to them, that they are prepared to take this for a legal battle and take it through the courts. Now, back in 2014, Manchester City were prepared to take it to the courts. Then they were told then by the FIFA president, now who was the UEFA president at the time, that the relations between UEFA and Manchester City is going to become frictioned by it and taking it to court, so they'll lessen Manchester City's sanction and just give them a fine. That fine was then equally shared out amongst other Champions League clubs rather than being invested in grassroots football or donated to any charities or anything like that. They thought they'd feed their own greediness, and I thought that was pretty disgraceful. I think that pretty much sums up UEFA in my opinion. Now, Manchester City from this, they want to take it through to the courts. Manchester City's argument is that they're invested in their own business. Now, I'd say 99 times out of 100, it might even be 999 times out of 1,000, you're normally allowed to invest in your own business. It's your own money and you can do what you want with your own money. As long as you're paying your tax and as long as you're abiding by the law, you're allowed to do that. Now, UEFA, they're a law upon to themselves. They introduced financial fair play. At the time of 2014, Manchester City were unhappy about financial fair play. They were confident of taking it into court and having financial fair play chucked out, having it nulled. It's no longer valid, that it's an illegal movement. You can't stop us from investing in our own business if we want to invest our own money into the business. Now, I imagine that case will probably get dragged up again if City are found guilty. I find it pretty barbaric, if I'm completely honest. If Manchester City have lied about their finances to try and breach any kinds of regulations that are in place, then of course Manchester City then should be summoned by UEFA to explain the actions, and if not a suitable explanation for it, should then be punished. It sounds to me like UEFA are just ready to dish out a punishment based on their investigation rather than Manchester City's side being put across. So it would be nice for Manchester City to make some kind of statement and put out some proof that this isn't the case, or if it is the case, then Manchester City have been quite naughty, and Manchester City, if that is the case, might look to try and take this through the court. It'll be interesting to see if Man City accept the punishment or whether Manchester City do take it to the court, and it'll be interesting to see then if City are just trying to have their European ban overturned or whether Manchester City might look to have financial fair play chucked out completely. They might try and get a reimbursement of their money that they were fined. I think PSG were fined a similar amount too back in 2014. Things could get very ugly. They're reporting that this could be Manchester City being banned in Europe as of next season, which I find pretty weird. If it does get dragged through the courts and everything, things will take months and months to sort out. You probably won't have a conclusion to the case by the time Manchester City are in the Champions League next season. If we do end up qualifying, which you'd expect, then we'd automatically be banned, whilst we actually might not. Well, we should not be banned, if you know what I mean, taking it through court. So things could get very dirty here, things could get very ugly, and you're wondering why the European Super League's been talked about often, then this is the case, and that's why. So it'll be interesting to see where UEFA take this and where Manchester City take this. We will keep an eye on it. I will keep you all up to date, and any developments, we will have that up for you in a video, and you can stay tuned. But at the moment, I don't want to say things don't look good, but I'm saying things are getting very dicey, things are getting very interesting, so we'll keep our eyes on that and we'll keep a very close eye on them developments. But there we go, that's been the video. Sorry it's been a little bit of a longer video. I just wanted to take this time out to be able to talk to you guys and be able to explain certain things, particularly with financial fair play in the stadium. We've got two big interesting things happening, both corresponding with each other at the same time. We've also got a little bit of that extra bit of Manchester City wanting their own complex. So yeah, things getting very interesting at Manchester City. So any latest news, we'll have that out for you in a video. So make sure if you're interested that you have subscribed, press the red button and make sure you press the bell, put your push notifications on. There we go, that's been the video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a big thumbs up and let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm always interested in other people's opinions on this. Let me know what you think of UEFA and the financial fair play investigation, and let me know what you, most importantly to me, let me know what you think of the expansion, because that affects us in the long term rather than just a 1-year ban. But yeah, things are getting friction between us and UEFA. It'd be interesting to see the reception UEFA get against Hoffenheim next week, if things end up getting more interesting by then. But there we go, that's been the video. Hope you enjoyed the video. Social media links in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time tomorrow for the analysis of the Watford versus Manchester City game. So I'll see you then. So it's been JSGC. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.